Dear students, this is third lecture on drug discovery and drug design. Now, in a previous class, we have discussed about the pharmacokinetic action of a drug molecule that includes adsorption, distribution, drug metabolism, and drug excretion. The other part of the drug action is pharmacodynamic action. Now, the today's lecture regarding pharmacodynamic action and the targets of the drug molecules. A pharmacodynamic action. Pharmacodynamic action. Pharmacodynamic action of the drug. Now, a consequences that are follow or that happen for a drug molecule after binding it with its target. So we have discussed in a previous lectures about no drug is show its action without binding to its target in our body. So there is a two consequences before binding to the target and after binding to the target. Now, the before binding, the consequences of a drug molecule that are happen before binding to the drug, before binding to its target is called as pharmacokinetic action that we already discussed and completed. Now, after that, a drug molecule after binding with its target, what happens? So, whatever the consequences that happen after binding a drug molecule to its target is called as pharmacodynamic action. Say, after binding to the drug molecule to its target, now it show its action on a cell function in order to correct the cell function, to relieve patient from a particular disease. So a drug molecule, what happens after binding with its target, it starts its functioning to correct. After binding with the target, it show its action about on a cellular function where it is capable to correct the cellular functions, the cell functions, and set all the cell functions under normal condition and relieved a patient or human from a particular disease. So this part is called as pharmacodynamic action of the drug. For example, you take in the cause of ulcer, that is in the case of anti-ulcer drugs. We are going to study about pharmacodynamic action for anti-ulcer drug in order to understood easily what is pharmacodynamic action. So coming to anti-ulcer drug and their pharmacodynamic action. Before going to that, what is ulcer? How it causes to the human body? Ulcer is a form of wounds related to a disease of digestive system. It is a disease of digestive system. Now in the digestive system, where the tissue of gastrointestinal tract is covered with a transparent layer called as epithelial layer. That layer always protected. It is like a lamination of tissue. So a sheet of laminating protected our tissue in the gastrointestinal tract from the gastric acid. Now gastric acid is an acid. It is a digestive acid. It requires to break down the food molecule to break down the food molecule for proper its digestion. So acid is required in the gastrointestine for food digestion. So under normal person or under normal condition, a gastric acid is released in the gastrointestine, and the released gastric acid will be consumed only for the digestion of food. So this is happen in the normal person. Now under some circumstances, if under any circumstances, if more hydrochloric acid is secreted, not always, under certain conditions, due to the environmental condition and due to the food uptake, a type of foods uptaken by the person, where more gastric acid if secreted into the digestive system or gastrointestine, what happen? Certain amount of hydrochloric acid, that is gastric acid, will be consumed for the food digestion. The remaining excess hydrochloric acid will be stored in a digestive system for a longer time. So whatever the excess hydrochloric acid secreted by the in the digestive system is stored for a longer time. When gastric acid, that is hydrochloric acid, is stored longer time in a digestive system, that can causes corrosion of a epithelial layer, which is a layer protected our tissue, our gastrointestinal tissue. So when due to the excess storage of hydrochloric acid, that layer get damaged, that causes corrosion. We know the property of acid, that is a corrosive, hence it causes corrosion of the layer. Thereby the tissue of the digestive system will be directly exposed to hydrochloric acid. That will causes a damage of cell wall and penetrated into the cell and produces some cellular effects followed by cell death. Now that leads to formation of wounds called as ulcer. So this is the cause of ulcer. Ulcer is due to the excess secretion of hydrochloric acid in the digestive system. So this is the cause of hydrochloric acid. Now let us study how hydrochloric acid is released in the gastrointestine under normal conditions. A mechanism. Before going to study about the pharmacodynamic action of anti-ulcer drug, first we should learn about what is ulcer and how it is causes, and how hydrochloric acid, digestive acid, is released in the stomach. Now under normal person or under normal condition, in the normal body, the histidine, under normal person, a histidine, it is an amino acid, it is an amino acid, it acquired through the food, So histidine is an amino acid acquired by the human body through the food. Now histidine is transformed. The histidine is transformed into histamine. Histidine is transformed into histamine. It is an amino acid. No. Histidine is not amino acid. The histidine is a substance acquired through the food. An amino acid. Okay. Yes, it is an amino acid. Now it is transformed into histamine, and this histamine will be stored. The histamine the histamine will be stored in a mast cell. Mast cell. This is the mast cell. Mast cell. It is present on a gastric tissue. Gastric tissue, that is the cells of gastrointestine. So a mast cell is present in the gastrointestine, where the histamine is histidine is transformed into histamine. Whatever the histamine is formed, that will be stored totally in the mast cell. This is the storage depot for histamine. Storage depot for the histamine. Is it clear? Once again, a histidine, which is an amino acid, we are acquiring through the food, that will be transformed into histamine. This histamine totally stored in the mast cell, present in the gastrointestine or gastric mucosa. So this is called as storage for histamine. Whenever necessary, the mast cell slowly released histamine. Histamine release. Whenever it is required, it slowly released from the mast cell. So this is the histamine release. Now the released histamine can interact with the histamine receptor, which are present in the gastric mucosa. This histamine interacted, say this is gastric mucosa, which consisting of say for example, this is the receptor present on a gastric mucosa related to histamine receptor, HR. Now the histamine released whenever it is necessary, it released from the mast cell. This histamine will interacted with the histamine receptor present in the gastric mucosa to form histamine receptor complex. Are you following? What happens? The released histamine can interact with histamine receptor present in the gastric mucosa to form histamine receptor complex. This is the complex which will initiate the proton pump. It will promoter histamine and histamine receptor complex acts as a promoter and initiated the proton pump, which is a pump existed in the gastric mucosa to secrete the hydrochloric acid. So this complex is initiated plus indicated promoted or initiation to the proton pump. Proton pump. Now this is the proton pump present in the gastric mucosa to secrete hydrochloric acid. Therefore, the proton pump secreted hydrochloric acid, that is HCl. This HCl is consumed for the digestion of food. The whole HCl secreted by a proton pump is consumed for the digestion of food. So this is the consequence happen under normal person. Once again, the histidine is a starting amino acid acquiring as by from the through the food is transformed into histamine. The histamine is stored in the mast cell, which is called as storage depot of histamine. The histamine, whenever necessary, it's for its metabolic demand, the mast cell slowly released the histamine from the cell, that is from the mast cell. The released histamine will able to interact with the histamine receptor present in the gastric mucosa to form histamine receptor complex, HHR complex. This complex acts as a promoter or initiator, which initiated or which promoted the proton pump present in the gastric mucosa to be secrete hydrochloric acid. Thereby the proton pump gets secreted the hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid is consumed by for the digestion of food. So this is the cause of this is the mechanism involved in the release of hydrochloric acid under normal person to for the digestion of the food. Now coming to our discussion, that is, under any circumstances, under certain circumstances, I already discussed that the circumstance may be related to environment, the circumstance may be related to the consumed food, that is the food diet of the food or food habit. Now that make sometimes causes. So whatever the condition, if causes, if more activates the proton pump, if more activated the proton pump, more activated the mast cell, that causes excess secretion or excess release of histamine. So any condition, if that initiated the mast cell to be secrete more histamine than the metabolic need, thereby mast cell releases the more histamine. So whole histamine will interacted with its receptor, that is histamine receptor present in the gastric mucosa, to form more complex, that is histamine receptor complex is more formed. Earlier we discussed this complex is the initiator or promoter of proton pump. When the concentration of complex increases, how it increases? Under any circumstances, if histamine will be released more than its metabolic need, it more interacted with its receptor to form a respective complex, histamine receptor complex. When the concentration of histamine receptor complex is more, that will be more initiated, high promoted the proton pump. Thereby, due to the more activation of proton pump, hydrochloric acid is secreted more. High concentration of hydrochloric acid, that is more hydrochloric acid is secreted by the proton pump. Therefore, certain proportion of hydrochloric acid is consumed for the food digestion. The remainder of the hydrochloric acid, because here excess hydrochloric acid is secreted than its need for the digestion of the food. So the excess hydrochloric acid, excess hydrochloric acid, whatever present, now this will causes the damage of the epithelial layer, which is a protector of tissue of gastrointestine. So this causes ulcer. So this is about a in detail study. What is ulcer? How ulcer is causes? It involved a simple mechanism. So under normal person, histamine is released from the mast cell with respect to its metabolic need, and it simply interacted with histamine receptor to form a complex. The complex will promoted the proton pump to be secrete hydrochloric acid, whatever the amount it needs, and it will be consumed for the food digestion. So under any circumstances, if mast cell is more activated, that secreted more histamine. So the more histamine will interact with the more number of histamine receptor to form more amount or more number of histamine receptor complex. Therefore, when the concentration of this complex increases, that will more promoted the proton pump. Hence, the proton pump secreted more hydrochloric acid. Certain proportion will be consumed for the food digestion. The remaining proportion causes the ulcer. So this is the mechanism of cause of ulcer. Coming to pharmacodynamic action of anti-ulcer drugs. Anti-ulcer drugs. Ulcer. Now we have two anti-ulcer drugs in your syllabus. One is ranitidine. Ranitidine. The other one is cimetidine. So we have two types of anti-ulcer drug, ranitidine as well as cimetidine. So these are the anti-ulcer drug. Now let us study their pharmacodynamic action. Now anti-ulcer drugs. Say this is the drug. Which are capable to bind with the histamine receptor. Now when anti-ulcer drugs are administered, they first undergo pharmacokinetic action, after that pharmacodynamic action. So antihistaminic drugs it is capable to bind with the histamine receptor to block the receptor site and causes, and this binding, a drug, anti-ulcer drug binding with histamine receptor present in the gastric mucosa causes, it prevented the access of histamine. That is, the anti-ulcer drugs occupy the area of receptor and prevented the access of histamine onto the histamine receptor. This drug is not allow the histamine to be interact with histamine receptor. Is it clear? Now when the drug is not allowed to histamine to be interact with histamine receptor, therefore the formation of histamine receptor complex is decreased. This complex formation is decreased as the histamine is unable to interact with its receptor due to the presence of a drug, anti-ulcer drug, so that the histamine receptor complex formation is decreased for some time. When its concentration is decreased, it may not promote the proton pump. When the concentration is decreased, it may not initiate the proton pump. Therefore, the proton pump is unable to secrete hydrochloric acid for certain time. Now when hydrochloric acid is unable to secreted from the proton pump, thereby it decreases the concentration of hydrochloric acid in the gastric mucosa, followed by it relieved from the ulcer. So what happens? Anti-ulcer drugs, after binding with the receptor, histamine receptor, that is its target, it prevented the access of histamine onto its respective receptor, and also prevented the formation of histamine receptor complex, thereby decrease the concentration of hydrochloric acid release in the gastric mucosa or digestive system, and relieved from the pain of ulcer. So whatever the consequence we observed, what are the consequences? The drug to be bound with the receptor and prevent the access of histamine, and thereby decrease the concentration of histamine receptor complex formation, thereby decrease the initiation or decrease the activation of proton pump, and decrease the concentration of hydrochloric acid release, therefore relieved. When the concentration of hydrochloric acid is decreased, it relieved from the cause of ulcer. So this is the consequences that observed for the in the case of anti-ulcer drugs. So this is the pharmacodynamic action. It is called as, so whatever the drug that shows its action, its consequences after binding with its target is called as pharmacodynamic. So this is about pharmacodynamic action of anti-ulcer drugs. Is it clear? Now we are going to discuss and pharmacodynamic action for antihypertensive drugs also, for easy to understood. What is pharmacodynamic action? Now coming to antihypertensive, pharmacodynamic action of antihypertensive drugs. Pharmacodynamic action of antihypertensive drugs. Now, what is hypertension? A excess of systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure from 120 millimeter and 80 millimeter, 85 millimeter. Whatever the excess of blood pressure of systolic from 120 and diastolic blood pressure from 85 is called as hypertension or blood pressure. Hypertension. Hypertension. Now, there are many causes for the hypertension. For the hypertension, that is, number one, hypertension may be due to genetic factor. There are different factors which causes the hypertension. It may be due to genetic factor, number one. It may be due to electrolytic factor, that is a salt water, and it may be due to the hormonal factor. It may be due to the hormonal factor. It may be due to the neural factor. Sometimes the hypertension is caused by the neural factor, and sometimes due to the oversensitivity of blood vessels. That is called as vessel wall factor. So that there are 5 factors. One is a genetic factor. Are you following? I am discussing about the causes of hypertension. Now, hypertension may be due to the genetic factor. Hypertension may be due to the electrolytic factor. Hypertension may be due to the vessel wall factor, that is sensitization of inner walls of blood vessels. Or hypertension may be due to hormonal factors, due to hormones, that is called as hormonal factor. And hypertension may be due to electrolytic factor, that is a salt water. Now we are going to discuss about the hypertension due to electrolytes. Now there are different type of electrolytes can causes the hypertension. The hypertension may be due to excess calcium plus 2 or excess sodium ion entered into the cell of blood vessel, that is for easy understood, I am giving a diagram. It's a diagram. Now this is the cell of blood vessel. So a cell existed in the blood vessel. This is calcium plus 2 ion channel. Calcium plus 2 ion channel. This is the receptor. This is the receptor. Now A channel is linked with the receptor. Are you following? A simple diagram, a simplified version of blood vessel cell. Now it consists of calcium plus 2 ion channel, and it also consists of a receptor on its surface. This channel is linked with the receptor. That is, a receptor is connected with the channel. Now this is called as receptor. Is it clear? Now, either adrenaline or noradrenaline, this is receptor. R stands for receptor. Is it clear? Now, under normal condition, a noradrenaline it is a neurotransmitter. When interacted with this receptor, this receptor will give the message to a ion channel to be open and to be allow the calcium plus 2 ion to enter into the cell. The concentration of calcium plus 2 ion with respect to its metabolic need is allowed to enter into the cell through an ion channel. So this ion is entered into the cell through a channel called as calcium plus 2 ion channel. This channel is worked with the response of only respective receptor where it is linked. So when a noradrenaline, a neurotransmitter, interacted with this receptor opens the channel. It will open the gate, thereby allowed the calcium plus 2 ion to enter into the cell from outside the cell into inside the cell. So a calcium plus 2 ion is entered through an ion channel into the cell. Is it clear? How its entry occurs? Its entry is due to the interaction of noradrenaline with this receptor that allow to open the gate to permit the calcium ion to enter into the cell. Is it clear? Now, this calcium ion, when entered into the cell, it combined with calmodulin. Calcium, when entered into the cell, it combined with the calmodulin to form calcium calmodulin. Now this is the promoter of MLCK enzyme. Are you following? So when calcium entry occurs, it combined with the calmodulin. It is a substance present in the cell of blood vessel. It combined to form calcium calmodulin. Calcium calmodulin complex is a promoter of MLCK enzyme, or it may also called as the calcium calmodulin is an activator of myosin light chain kinase enzyme called as MLCK enzyme. So plus, the plus indicated promotion or activation. Activation of what? Activation of MLCK enzyme. What is MLCK enzyme? MLCK enzyme is a myosin light chain kinase enzyme. So the calcium calmodulin activated the MLCK enzyme. This is the enzyme. It is a phosphorylating enzyme. It phosphorylates myosin into myosin phosphate. It phosphorylates myosin into myosin phosphate. Now you see the mechanism. When MLCK enzyme is activated, which it is a phosphorylating enzyme, thereby it phosphorylates myosin into myosin phosphate. So myosin is transformed into myosin phosphate. Further, the myosin phosphate is back converted into myosin again. Myosin phosphate is back converted into myosin again by the process of dephosphorylation using myosin phosphatase enzyme. Myosin phosphatase enzyme. So it is a MLCK enzyme is a phosphorylating enzyme. Myosin phosphatase enzyme is a dephosphorylating enzyme. One add phosphate to the myosin to be transformed it into myosin phosphate. The other enzyme cleave the phosphate group from myosin phosphate to be transformed it into myosin. Is it clear? So we are discussing about the function of the cell of the blood vessel under normal condition. This is happening under normal condition or in any person or in any human body. So the calcium calmodulin formation promotes the MLCK enzyme to be phosphorylate myosin into myosin phosphate. Now the myosin phosphate is back converted into myosin by dephosphorylating with myosin phosphatase enzyme. Is it clear? Now the forward reaction, myosin transformation into myosin phosphate is the forward reaction. Myosin phosphate back transformation into myosin is the backward reaction. One is forward reaction, the other one is backward reaction. Now you listen clearly. The forward reaction, myosin transformation into myosin phosphate is the forward reaction by MLCK enzyme that leads to constriction of blood vessel. So forward reaction leads to constriction of blood vessel where the diameter of blood vessel decreased, and the backward reaction, what is backward reaction? Myosin phosphate back transformation into myosin by myosin phosphatase enzyme is the backward reaction. So the backward reaction, that is from myosin phosphate to myosin formation, leads to relaxation of blood vessel where the diameter of the blood vessel increases. Are you following? It is a simple mechanism. The forward reaction, this forward reaction leads to constriction of blood vessel. The backward reaction leads to relaxation of or dilation, relaxation of blood vessel. Constriction causes decrease in the diameter. Relaxation causes increase in the diameter. Is it clear? Now this reaction, forward reaction and backward reaction, is under 1:1 ratio in the normal person. The forward reaction, myosin transformation into myosin phosphate back conversion into myosin. The forward reaction and backward reactions are equal in 1:1 ratio under normal person. That means the constriction of blood vessel as well as dilation of blood vessel in 1:1 ratio is very, very important for proper irrigation of blood, from heart to the various organ systems in the body. The constriction leads to decrease in the diameter. Relaxation leads to increase in the diameter of the blood vessel. So the constriction and relaxations are very important for proper supply or proper irrigation of the blood from myocardium of the heart to the various organ system or throughout the body. The blood supply throughout the body is very essential. Now the supply of the blood from the myocardium of the heart to various parts or various organ system or throughout the body is possible only when there is a constriction of blood vessel and relaxation of blood vessel. Constriction and relaxation of blood vessel. Is it clear? So under normal person, just now we discussed a constriction, relaxation, forward reaction, backward reactions are equal. That means constriction of blood vessel, relaxation of blood vessel. Constriction, relaxation of the blood vessel get also equal. So this is we observe in the normal person. So this leads to proper irrigation or proper supply of the blood throughout the body. Is it clear? Now coming to pharmacodynamic. Now coming to the cause of hypertension. So this schematic diagram is related to a blood vessel, a cell present in the blood vessel called as vascular smooth muscle cell, where vascular stands for blood vessel. A vascular smooth muscle cell, a schematic diagram related to vascular smooth muscle cell, which shows how blood is irrigated from myocardium of the heart to various parts of the body under normal condition or in the normal person. Coming to the cause of hypertension, let us study how hypertension is caused. Now when an antigen any material that is not useful to our body is an antigen. When an antigen bind with the receptor, this receptor will be more activated, that leads to opening of this channel. Initially we discussed how it is opened by the response of receptor when it interacted with noradrenaline. Now under the condition, under some certain condition, may be genetic or may be environmental or whatever it may be, if an antigen bind with this receptor will open the channel, that is the gate. A channel is opened for a longer time, for opening for a longer time, open for longer time, open for a longer time. Therefore more calcium plus 2 ion entry occurs than its metabolic need. So when the channel is opened, normally the channel is blocked with magnesium ion, it is closed with the magnesium ion. Whenever calcium plus 2 is needed, magnesium plus, the channel is unblocked by removing magnesium ion from the channel. Now when an antigen interacted with this receptor, that will open the calcium plus 2 ion gate or channel for a longer time. When it opens for a longer time, more calcium plus 2 ion entry occurs. Calcium plus ion entry occurs. More means more entry of calcium plus 2 than its metabolic need, than its metabolic demand. When calcium plus 2 ion concentration increases, when calcium plus 2 ion concentration increases, what happens? It will more combine with the calcium calmodulin to form more calcium calmodulin complex. So the formation of calcium calmodulin complex increases, its ratio or its concentration increases. When calcium calmodulin concentration increases, just now we discussed it is a promoter, it is an activator of MLCK enzyme. Thereby it more activated the MLCK enzyme than the normal. That is, MLCK enzyme get more activated. You see consequences. A simple consequences happen. When calcium calmodulin concentration increases, how it increases? due to the more entry of calcium plus 2 ion from its gate than its need. So the calcium calmodulin concentration when increases, what happens? It is a promoter or it is an activator that more activated the MLCK enzyme, which is a phosphorylating enzyme, leads to what? More phosphorylation of myosin into myosin phosphate than the normal. That is, myosin get more phosphorylated to form more myosin phosphate. That means the rate of forward reaction increases. When MLCK enzyme is more activated, the rate of forward reaction increases. What is forward reaction? Forward reaction is the transformation of myosin into myosin phosphate by MLCK enzyme. What happens to the forward reaction? The forward reaction causes constriction of blood vessel. So blood vessel constriction leads to forward reaction. Relaxation leads to what? Backward reaction. Now under this condition where the MLCK enzyme is more activated, causes more phosphorylation of myosin into myosin phosphate. In simple way, the forward reaction, the rate of forward reaction increases. When the rate of forward reaction increases, what happens? Constriction of blood vessel that leads to constriction of blood vessel for a longer time than the normal. Normally it is constricted, normally it is relaxed. Constriction, relaxation is under normal condition, that leads to proper irrigation of blood from myocardium to various parts or various organs of the body. This we have discussed just now. Now under these circumstances, what happens? When forward reaction increases, forward reaction leads to what? Constriction. When its rate increases, rate of forward reaction increases, the constriction of blood vessel for a longer time. That leads to longer time constriction of blood vessel, causes longer time constriction of blood vessel. Now so the rate of the forward reaction when increases, there is a constriction of blood vessel for a longer time. When the blood vessel is constricted for a longer time, we know the constriction leads to decrease in the diameter of the blood vessel. When the diameter of the blood vessel decreases, what happens? The blood pressure increases. When the diameter decreases, blood pressure increases. Is it clear? That is, the blood flow decreases and pressure increases. When the blood vessel is constricted, the flow rate of the blood decreases, leads to a simultaneous increase in the blood pressure. That we know, it is a general phenomena. When the diameter constricted, the flow rate of the fluid inside the tube decreases, causes increase in the blood pressure, increase in the pressure of the fluid. In the same way, when the blood vessel is constricted for a longer time, that leads to constriction of blood vessel for a longer time, that leads to decrease in the flow rate of the blood and increase in the pressure of the blood. Increase in the pressure of the blood, that is called as hypertension. That is called as hypertension. Is it clear? Now, how blood, we discussed about how the reactions are happen inside the cell and how the hypertension is causes. So this is the mechanism which explain the cause of hypertension. Is it clear? I think you all are catched my lecture. Now coming to pharmacodynamic action of hypertensive drug. Now we have a good example, that is prazosin. That is prazosin. Prazosin, a anti-hypertensive drug. So we have different types of anti-hypertensive drugs. Due to earlier we discussed the hypertension, the causes of, there are n number of causes for hypertension: genetic factor, electrolytic factor, vessel wall factor, hormonal factor, etc. So due to n number of factors which causes the hypertension, there are different type of drugs depending upon the cause of the hypertension. Now we have discussed here the cause of the hypertension due to electrolyte, where it involved calcium plus 2 ion. Is it clear? For that we have a drug called as prazosin. Now prazosin is a good antihypertensive drug. Now what happens? You see what happens. This drug bind with this channel. Say this is the drug. Now you observe. The prazosin is an antihypertensive drug. This drug bind with the channel, calcium plus 2 channel, and block the channel. Blocked or closed the channel. Now when the drug blocked the channel, the entry of calcium plus 2 from outside the cell into inside the cell is prevented. There is no entry of calcium plus 2. Calcium plus 2 entry can be prevented for some time. How it is prevented? A drug can block the ion channel. First it bind with the ion channel, that is calcium plus 2 ion channel, and block the channel. Channel will be blocked. When the channel is blocked, what happens? The entry of calcium plus 2 is prevented. That means the calcium plus 2 concentration in the cell decreases. Calcium plus 2 concentration in the cell decreases. When the calcium plus 2 concentration decreases, calcium calmodulin concentration also decreases. Now, when the calcium calmodulin concentration decreases, MLCK enzyme get deactivated. MLCK enzyme. So calcium calmodulin is the activator of MLCK enzyme. When the calcium calmodulin concentration decreases due to non-availability of calcium plus 2 ion, that may not activate the MLCK enzyme. That means MLCK enzyme get deactivated. When MLCK enzyme is deactivated, what happens? The rate of forward reaction decreases. Rate of forward reaction decreases. Initially it increases due to antigen. Now here the rate of forward reaction when decreases, what happens? That leads to relaxation of blood vessel. Initially it is constricted due to increase in the rate of forward reaction. Now when MLCK enzyme is deactivated, what happens? The rate of forward reaction decreases. Formation of myosin into myosin phosphate decreases. When the rate of forward reaction decreases, the blood vessel get relaxed from its constriction. When the blood vessel is relaxed, the blood flow, the rate of blood flow increases and pressure decreases. Pressure decreases. That is, it relieved from the hypertension. It relieved from the hypertension. Do you observe how drug will work? How drug will show its action? Now, a prazosin is the drug which combine or which bind with the calcium plus 2 ion and block the channel, prevented the calcium plus 2 entry and decrease the formation of calcium plus 2 calmodulin complex and deactivated the MLCK enzyme and decrease the rate of forward reaction and decrease the constriction of rate of constriction of blood vessel, that is blood vessel get dilated or relaxed. When the rate of constriction decreases, what happens? It become dilated or it become relaxed. When the blood vessel is relaxed, the rate of blood flow increases, the pressure decreases. So that leads to relief from the hypertension. So hypertension is relieved. So this is the pharmacodynamic action for antihypertensive drug. Are you clear? Is it clear? What is pharmacodynamic action? Whatever the action that show on a cellular function by a drug after binding with its target. The action or the consequences that show on cellular function or cell function by a drug molecule after binding with its target is called as pharmacodynamic action. So that is the pharmacodynamic action of antihypertensive drug. I think with these two examples you all are well understood about the pharmacodynamic action. Is it clear? Now 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 we are going to discuss another topic, drug targets. Now initially in previous classes we discussed any kind of the drug inside the body is unable to show its action without binding with its target. Now therefore every drug bind with its target in order to show its action. Now we have a doubt, what is the target? What is the target to which a drug molecule is bound to show its action? Now just we are going to discuss about the drug called as drug targets. That is, let us study a macromolecular components, nothing but proteins. A macromolecular components. A macromolecular components, nothing but a proteins. A macromolecular components, that is a protein to which a drug bind, in order to show or in order to exhibit its action, in order to show its action on cell function, to correct the cell function, to relieve the patient from a particular disease, called as drug targets. A macromolecular components to which a drug bind, why it should bind? To show its action. So whatever the macromolecular component to which our drug bind and exhibited its action on cell function, so those macromolecular components are called as drug targets. These are the drug targets. That is, in a simplified way, I can write it. This is the drug. It goes and bind with macromolecular components. After binding a drug with a macromolecular component, it forms a drug macromolecular component complex. A drug molecule after binding with any macromolecule, we should discuss what is macromolecular component and type of macromolecular component in the latter section. A drug molecule when bind with the macromolecular components of the cell to form drug macromolecular component complex. Now this complex shows its action. This complex, a drug macromolecular component complex, started to show its action on cell function, cellular function. Cellular function that leads to relief from disease, from cellular effect, or we may call it as relief from disease. Relieved from the respective disease. So it is the simple mechanism how the drugs are acted and how they are relieved from the particular disease. A drug bound with the macromolecular component to form a complex, drug macromolecular complex, and then it show its action on cellular function that leads to relief from the cellular effect or relieved from the disease. Is it clear? Now, these macromolecular components, are called as drug targets. Drug targets, because a drug must bound with macromolecular components in order to show or in order to exhibit its action. Without binding, there is no action. Therefore, these macromolecular components are called as drug targets. The definition of the drug target include whatever the macromolecular components to which our drug bound to form a complex in order to show its action. Those macromolecular components are called as drug targets. Do you understand about drug targets? So macromolecular components are called as drug targets. Macromolecular components. Macromolecular components are called as drug target. There are four types of macromolecular components. The macromolecular component may be receptor. Macromolecular component may be ion channel. It may be ion channel, or macromolecular component may be enzyme. Macromolecular component may be enzyme, or the macromolecular component may be carrier molecule. Carrier molecules present in the cell. Are you following? A macromolecular component to which our drug bind is called as drug target. There are four types of macromolecular components: receptor, ion channel, enzyme, carrier molecule. Receptors are made by protein. Ion channels are also proteinous material. Enzyme is also made up of protein. Carrier molecules are also a special type of protein. We know the proteins are a complex in nature called as macromolecular components. A larger in their size, therefore called as macromolecules. Macromolecular components. So these are the four types of macromolecular components to which the drugs are bound. Are you following? That is, certain drugs bind with receptor. That is, this is the drug. Certain drugs may bound with this receptor, or certain other bound may be with ion channel. Certain drugs may be bound with enzymes. Certain other drugs may be bound with carrier molecules. A drug may be bound with receptor, or drug may be bound with ion channel. Drug may be bound with enzyme. Drug may be bound with carrier molecule, and to show action. That is called as drug action. So depending upon the drug structure, depending upon its usage, used for the treatment of a particular disease, In some cases, the drug only bound with receptor. In some other disease or in other some cases, it may bound with ion channel, or drug may be bound with enzyme. The drug may be bound with carrier molecule and exhibited their action to relieve from the respective disease or respective cellular effects. Now, these are the 4 types of drug targets for our drug to exhibit its action. Now, you have to study in detail about what are the receptors, why the drugs are, some drugs are bound with the receptor, and what are the ion channels, why our drug should bind with ion channel, and what similarly what are the enzymes, why our drug bound with enzyme, what are the carrier molecules, why our drug bound with the carrier molecules. Because most of the diseases to the human body due to dysfunctioning, that is failure of, most of the diseases to the human body may be due to the failure of functioning of receptor, or failure in the functioning of ion channel, or failure in the functioning of enzyme, or failure in the functioning of carrier molecule. Are you followed? So a disease to the human body is due to the failure or dysfunctioning of either receptor, or either ion channel, or either enzyme, or either carrier molecules. Is it clear? So disease may be due to the dysfunctioning or failure in the functioning of receptor, ion channel, enzyme, or sometimes carrier molecules. Suppose if a disease leads to failure in the functioning of receptor, then the receptors become drug targets. The receptor, because the disease is due to what? The disease may be due to the failure in the functioning of receptor. So what will be the target for the drug? The target for the drug to show its action will be the receptor. Therefore, it bind with the receptor and correct the functions. Now, some other disease, sometimes due to the failure in the functioning of ion channel. So when ion channel fail in their function, leads to some other kind of diseases. Now, what will be the target for the drug action? The ion channel becoming prime target for the drug action. Therefore, the drug bind with ion channel to correct the function. Sometimes the overactivation of the disease may be due to the overactivation of our own enzymes. Just now in the case of hypertension, we seen the overactivation of MLCK causes hypertension. So in that way, a body own enzyme may be overacted, or that causes overactivation causes a disease. Therefore, the enzymes become prime target for the drug action. Therefore, the drug should bind with that enzyme, respective enzyme, to correct the function. Now we have a disease that may be due to infective microorganism. Now during the growth of infective microorganism, many types of enzymes are involved in the process of growth of infective microorganism. So to relieve the disease caused by the infective microorganism, we have to either inhibit the growth of infective microorganism, or we have to kill the infective microorganism in the host cell. So there is a way to prevent its growth or to kill its growth. Just now we discussed, during the growth of enzymes, during the growth of microorganism, many enzymes are involved. Without enzyme, there is no growth of microorganism. So to inhibit the growth of a infective microorganism, the prime target for the drug action is enzyme. So some kind of the drugs are bound with the enzyme and inhibited the enzymic activity, thereby prevented the process of growth of infective microorganism and relieved from the disease caused by the microorganism. So some drugs bound with the enzyme in order to relieve from the disease. In other cases, when the carrier molecule fails in their function, again causes a disease. Therefore, the target for the drug molecule become a carrier molecules. Are you clear? So there are four type of drug targets: receptor, ion channel, enzyme, carrier molecules. Most of the diseases to the human body is due to failure in the functioning of receptor, ion channel, enzyme or carrier molecule. Therefore, these becoming a drug targets. The drugs are bound with any kind of these four receptor and relieved from the disease. So we will discuss what is receptor, what is the functioning of receptor, how it involved in the cause of disease, and how the drugs will bound with the receptor, and how the drugs will relieve from the respective disease by correcting the function of receptor, either ion channel or either enzyme or either carrier molecule. We will discuss in the next lecture or next class. With this, I conclude today's lecture. So today we have discussed about pharmacodynamic action of drug. What is the pharmacodynamic action? How it can be seen in the relief of various diseases. We have discussed one example of anti-ulcer drug, pharmacodynamic action, the other example of anti-hypertensive pharmacodynamic action. After that, we have discussed a little bit about the drug targets, a macromolecular component, four types of macromolecular component, how they involved in the cause of disease, how the drug will bind with the receptor, how the drug will bind with these four kind of drug targets, how they correct their function. We will discuss in the next class. With this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you.